The one who forgives wins. A long time ago, in a yellow meadow, there lived a majestic pure-blood horse, tall and strong, with a shiny black coat. His name was Lightning, and there was no other like him. Lightning was a jewel of the farm. His owner, a robust farmer, spoke of him with pride. "This horse is worth more than everything I have." He was the fastest, the strongest, the most imposing. In every race, the other horses could barely keep up with him. He was a born winner, and everyone admired him. Well, almost everyone. In a corner away from the farm, far from the tracks and the glory, there lived a chubby and pink pig with drooping ears and a curious look. Unlike Lightning, Lightning had no admirers or trophies. His name was Chanchito, and he spent his days rolling in the mud and looking for pieces of corn among the straw. No one paid attention to the pig. No one applauded him or called him a champion. But he didn't care because he saw something that the others didn't. He saw Lightning beyond his speed. He saw his soul. From the first day, Chanchito had been fascinated by the horse, but not by his races, not by his trophies. What amazed him was the freedom with which he ran, the fire in his eyes when he galloped with the wind. One afternoon, when no one was looking, he approached and said with a smile, "Lightning, you look amazing when you run. Not because you're fast, but because you look happy." The horse, who was used to receiving compliments for his speed, blinked in surprise. "Happy? Why do you say that? Why don't you run for trophies? You run because it's what you love." That was the first time someone said something like that, and it was the beginning of a friendship that no one understood. A racing horse and a simple pig. A majestic animal and another, well, covered in mud. But that didn't matter, because when they were together, they were just two friends. Time passed, and Lightning was preparing for the most important race of the year. His owner trained him with care, and everyone on the farm talked about the next victory. But then, the unthinkable happened. One morning, while Lightning was practicing, his legs slipped in a wet area of the field. The air was filled with a terrible crunch, and the great horse fell to the ground with a spurt of pain. The farmer ran towards him with his heart in a fist. The veterinarian was called immediately, and after examining him, he gave a dark verdict. "We have done everything possible, but if he doesn't get up before dawn, we will have no choice but to sacrifice them." Words fell like a death sentence. The whole farm was silent. Chanchito, who had heard everything from his corner, felt a chill in his soul. He stood still, looking at the motionless silhouette of his friend in the stable. He couldn't lose him. With his heart beating like a drum of war, he threw himself at full speed towards a horse. "Lightning," he shouted with a trembling voice. "You have to get up." The horse barely opened its eyes. It was weak, exhausted, and its muscles didn't respond. "I can't, Chanchito," he whispered in a hoarse voice. "I have no strength." The pig felt his tears fill his eyes, but he didn't give up. He came closer and spoke to him as firmly as he could. "You can't let yourself be defeated. Do you remember why you run? It's not for trophies. It's not for money. You run because you love doing it, because you're free." The horse closed its eyes, but something inside it began to wake up. Chanchito didn't stop. "Get up. Fight. Don't let everything end like this." Time passed. The night advanced. The pig didn't stop talking. It didn't stop believing. And then, when the first ray of sun crossed the horizon, the horse moved. Slowly, with a superhuman effort, Relámpago tried to stand up. His legs trembled. His breathing was heavy. But he didn't give up. Chanchito held his breath while his friend, with a last impulse of will, managed to stand up. A second of silence. And then, the whole farm burst into flames. The farmer ran towards him with tears in his eyes. "Our champion has returned." The joy was immense. The farm celebrated with food and music. Everyone talked about the incredible recovery of Relámpago, about the miracle that brought him back. But nobody mentioned the pig. Nobody knew that he was the one who spent the whole night fighting for his friend. And he didn't care, because Relámpago was alive. And that was enough. The days passed. Relámpago, stronger than ever, was taken to the great race of the city. And he won. The applause surrounded him. The medals shone on his neck. His owner received a large sum of money. It was the biggest day of his life. When they returned to the farm, Chanchito ran excitedly to his meeting. "You did it, friend. I knew you would." But before he could get closer, he heard the farmer scream with joy. "We won the race. It's time to celebrate. We're going to kill the pig and have a big feast." Chanchito's world came down in an instant. He tried to find his friend's gaze. He tried to find in him the horse with whom he had shared so many laughs. But Relámpago didn't look at him. With his chest swollen with pride and the medals shining on his neck, he went on, ignoring the pig as if it had never existed. "I have more important things to think about," he murmured. Chanchito felt an indescribable cold in his soul. He had given everything for his friend. He had saved him from death. And now, that same friend was leaving him to his fate. The shadows of the afternoon grew longer while the farmer sharpened his knife. Chanchito felt his heart beating with absolute terror. The horse he had saved would not raise his voice for him. The edge of the knife reflected the last ray of the sun. And then the hunt began. The air on the farm was heavy. The decision had been made. The pig would be the feast of victory. The workers prepared the kitchen. They sharpened knives. They heated the fire. The farmer was in a radiant mood, celebrating the great race with a bottle in his hand. Nobody thought of the pig. Nobody remembered that it was him who saved Relámpago. Nobody except Chanchito, curled up in a corner of the stable, with his legs tied and his heart beating like a drum of war. He knew that his life was about to end. "So this is what I am worth," he whispered to himself, feeling a knot in his throat. "Save a friend, fight for him, so that he would give me up like a simple piece of meat." Betrayal hurt more than fear. But when he heard the sound of the knife sliding on the sharp stone, something inside him awoke. The survival instinct, the rope on his legs, was not well tied. They had underestimated a simple pig. With one last effort, he turned, bit, pulled, and freed himself. Without losing a second, he ran like never in his life. His legs hit the ground hard, driven by a single idea: to live. "The pig escapes," shouted a worker. The farmer reacted immediately. "Damn it, Mount of Lightning. We are going to catch him." The pure-blood horse was cornered in seconds. His owner jumped on him and took his shotgun. "He is not going to get far," he said with a confident smile. And so the hunt began. Chanchito ran through the fields with a burning breath in his lungs. Behind, Lightning and the farmer galloped at full speed, getting closer and closer. The horse that had run hundreds of races was chasing his own friend, the one who had saved him. The pig dodged stones, jumped logs, got between the bushes. But every time he looked back, he saw the farmer raising the shotgun and the cold brightness in the eyes of Lightning. Chanchito shouted desperately, "Lightning, help me! Stop! It's me!" But the horse did not stop. He had never seen it so big, so imposing, so distant. For him, Chanchito no longer existed. The forest appeared on the horizon, his only way out. If he reached the trees, he had a chance. But then the farmer shot. The sound resounded like a thunder. The shot rubbed Chanchito's back, making him roll over ground. He felt the burn on his skin, the smell of gunpowder, the taste of near death. He got up with the last gram of strength and threw himself into the forest. The farmer cursed. "Damn it! Faster, Lightning!" The horse jumped furiously on a fallen log, but he miscalculated. His hind leg got stuck and fell. The impact was brutal. Lightning shuddered in pain as his leg bent at an impossible angle. The farmer rolled on the ground, his shotgun flying far away. The race champion was finished. The silence of the forest was broken by a heartbreaking cry. The horse, who had won so many races, would never run again. The farmer got up with rage, seeing his horse rolling on the ground. His face became gloomy. A horse with a broken leg is useless. He slowly approached, placing his shotgun. "I'm sorry, friend, but there is no other option." Lightning, the pride of the farm, was going to be sacrificed like any other animal. Chanchito, who had fled among the trees, heard the horse's cries. He stood still, breathing shakily. He could escape. He could forget everything and save his life. But in his heart, there was still something stronger than fear, friendship, and against all instincts. He decided to return. He jumped from the bushes like an arrow and threw himself against the farmer. The man did not have time to react. Chanchito caught him with all his strength, making him fall. And a shot rang, but it was not for the horse. The farmer had accidentally shot himself in the foot. The scream of pain filled the forest. The man crawled away, terrified, bleeding, cursing his luck. Chanchito breathed strongly, trembling, but did not flee. He approached Relampago. The horse was limping, with a broken leg, with a low head, with eyes full of regret. He slowly raised his gaze. "I do not deserve your help," he whispered with a broken voice. "I was selfish. I abandoned you when you needed me most. And yet, you came back for me." The pig looked at him sadly, but also firmly, because that is what true friends do. They do not break because of mistakes, and they never forget the other. Relampago closed his eyes in pain. "Forgive me." The pig smiled tenderly. "I forgave you. Now you must forgive yourself." The sun began to rise among the trees, bathing everything with a golden light. The horse, broken, but with the lightest heart, sighed. Pig knew it was time to leave. He turned around and walked toward the forest, towards freedom, before disappearing. He looked at his friend one last time. "Take care, Relampago. Life always gives us a second chance. It is up to us to do something better with it." Relampago observed him while his silhouette was lost among the trees. For the first time in his life, he did not feel like a winner. He felt small, and with the sun illuminating his face, he knew he would never forget the little pig who taught him the true meaning of friendship. And tell me, what did you think the little pig did?